Hey everybody, this is Pramita here, and today I'm going to do a flip of my morning journal. And I think I did a flip just before I started this journal. This was in watercolor paper, and I just had 15 more days left for the month of October, so I decided to splurge. I generally don't make watercolor page journals because they come out pretty expensive, and it's basically a journal. I'm not doing some kind of art out here, so I prefer to do it on a thick cardstock. But I made an exception for October, and I started in this manner. Most of the pages have been posted on Instagram, so if you want, you can check my account. So this was just simply some watercolor florals as usual. And these are pretty self-explanatory, and I often go live in my Facebook journaling group, so if you're interested, please join. And just some tips and tricks, because basically I am not an artist, but I would like to do some watercolor pages in my morning pages, so that's how I do it. Okay, so these are mostly watercolors from Prima, because around this time I did receive a destash order from a lady of some Prima confections watercolors. Things I want to change in me, nothing. I think I did do a quick flip of this, I'm not sure. So this is basically till the end of October, and in November these are all by Prima confections. And I have this quirky way of writing sometimes, like I just follow the trend of the flowers and write around them. So this, I think this had some sort of glimmer effect. I don't know if it's still there or not. I used some sort of a this shimmer colors. I think it was on this page. I don't know if you can see it. It's slightly out there, kind of shimmer. And this was this. So, and on this page, this was the last of October. Yeah. And then I moved on to my new journal. This was a Fabriano notebook. Now, I have been getting a lot of questions about the journal I use to make my daily journal, the pages. Sorry. So that's basically from this company. It's called Fabriano. They make specialty papers, and I decided to go with this company because it was cheap and readily available in India. But the only problem I had with this journal was that since it had glue on only one side, it was not a stitched journal. So as I started using more and more watercolors, it became very fragile from this part, and you know, the papers, they started coming out. Initially I tried to re-glue them, yeah, but it didn't work. So I had to abandon this. I thought of using this for November and December, but I couldn't. And midway through November, no, I started another one in December. So let me show my November pages. This was around this time. And 1st November, there was an eclipse, I think. I'm not sure. No, I was just feeling eclipsed. Sometimes I have this way of putting words. Being different is not a curse, but a boon. Be different and unique. So that's how I felt that day. So these are all from Prima watercolors, and I had tried gluing up pages on the side, and initially it was okay, but then it didn't work anymore. I don't know why. Open your heart so that it says goodbye to your pain and regret, only to be whole again. Now these are some of the original works that I had done, and this is once again waiting breathlessly. Yeah, so I have usually a word going on the page, like it was a lazy day, relax, recharge. And this was Tuesday, fragile heart. So if only I could paint over my scars, they would have been a masterpiece. Sometimes we hurt people unknowingly, and sometimes we do it on purpose. So that's the tragedy of life. Stranger in the mirror is unknown to me. Yeah, it's like the person I had been about 5 to 10 years ago. Even if I don't travel 5 to 10 years ago, even 3 4 years ago, I was pretty different from what I am right now, because these are all by Prima watercolors. I love the watercolors, and I use them very sparingly. This one was The Road to My Heart is Rugged, inaccessible but not impossible to surmount. So become a traveler, a survivor, to seek the core of my heart. Um, if loving you is a crime, I want to be caught and imprisoned for the rest of my life. This was a Thursday, and I tried painting a sunflower. Is my pain my shadow or my alter ego, my best friend, soulmate, tied to my being forever, never to let me go? This was Friday, beginning of the end. I used some washi also over here. So, yeah, sometimes I write like this. And after I finish the page, the effect is pretty spectacular. Holding on to broken bits of myself. So sometimes what I do generally is I prep 3 or 4 pages at a time, see how the pages are coming apart, and I tried to fix it. It was Wednesday, busy and wordless, being less than perfect. Water your dreams, give it sunshine, shelter it from the harsh world, so that it blossoms, spreading its fragrance around. So Thursday, busy, busy, busy. Once again, these were all by Prima watercolors. Yeah. Saturday, Sunday. This was still November, and I was trying to make this notebook work. And then I started December. See, I have some pages prepped. And I started December, and I failed miserably because pages were all coming apart. And I still have some pages prepped over here. And no amount of surgery, gluing, or whatever was working on this. And I was so frustrated by the end of November and the beginning of December that I decided to do something else. Like, I took some thick cardstock paper, and I'm going to show you how I went on in December. So this was my December notebook, and I think I have 2 signatures over here. Yeah. These are thick cardstock papers. These are not watercolor papers, and I have just used them as, I think I took 8 pages, 8 sheets, and stitched 1 signature. I am not sure. So these are all from Prima watercolors. This was payback time. And these leaves were getting pretty, I was getting obsessed by these leaves, and I was trying to paint them everywhere. The sunflower was everything on this page. Like, I want to get everything together before losing it all. So this was 16th. Will you love my perfect imperfections when I lose mine? Will you be my muse even when I won't need you around? So I painted some leaves and berries. So these were some flowers that I tried, and fly high. This page turned out so good. Usually I start off as a disaster and then I work through it. And this was a stamp my friend Theron had sent me, and it went so well with the page. Like, it merged everything together, as if, it tried to hold everything together. Map of your heart. These were all from Prima watercolors. Yeah. So this was, I think I moved on to January, somewhere around here. And around this time I was not writing regularly. So this is another page. Vices of the heart. Stop fighting a war for something which is not yours. Never will it ever be. So I am at a place where I want to be. Love is a bondage that releases you, holding you in its embrace instead of letting go. So games that deception plays. So that day I didn't think I wrote anything. Okay, so on this was 18th January and that was my anniversary. So I wrote something on my anniversary. And on Sunday I didn't do much on these days. Once again, I told you people that I was obsessed with drawing leaves. So non-judgmental. So this was 23rd January, and these are all Prima watercolors. We are prisoners of our acts. These are some berries that I did. These are some roses. I think I used some flat brush to paint them. I did go live with this in my Facebook group, so if you want to check it out, you'll have to send in a request. So these are some for this I did with acrylic colors. Yeah, usually I don't use acrylics, and these were with markers. I was constantly experimenting with things, initially I had just painted some blobs of colors and then I went back with a black pen. These were some quotes that I used just to fill up the pages because I was not writing regularly around then. And this was for January, and for February what I did was, so this was my February journal, watercolor one, because the same type that I did around in December, only I used a Happy Planner dashboard to cover, as you can see. It's all repurposed. So this was February, and I have not been consistent with this. So I have skipped quite a number of days in between, and I'm just trying to go through this very quickly because some are, so I did a face on this day because I am actually trying to practice faces. This was April. So February and March I was not very consistent, and then I moved on to April. This was 1st April. This was 5th April. So once again I didn't journal for quite a few days. And then I went back to 5th, 6th April. And then this was 8th. I didn't do anything on 7th. So, and this was 9th April. So I was skipping a day in between. This was some kind of smudged kind of art I tried to do with mermaid markers from Jean Davenport. This is once again from my old favorite Koi watercolor palette. And this is from Prima watercolors. This is today's, no, this was yesterday. And today's I am still in the process of, putting together. So bye now. I hope you like this flip. If you like this flip, then please give it a thumbs up, and please comment. So bye now.